So jumping into a little bit of review, let's talk about how do we make things draw interactive. So for example, if I have a line and I'm going to put it in the middle of my screen and I want to be able to draw with it, we know that we do this, right? So I have one draw with it. But what's happening is it always starts right up here at the top of the screen because mouse X and mouse Y, and because processing loops through this 60 times per second, it's faster than you can be, faster than you can give it a number or a location, so it just puts 0, 0 in. So what we've been doing is wrapping that in a if mouse pressed. And when I say wrapping, so that means like I have this line here, if mouse pressed, and then I have a closing bracket. So this is wrapping in my line. So now I only get the line if my mouse is pressed. Now I have a little bit more control over it. More control. Let's say, for example, I wanted to have a black line if I'm on the left side of my screen, 100. So anything from 400 less, I want to have a black line, and anything from 400 more, I want to have a right line. Mouse press, which is sort of like my general statement, I'm going to make a more specific statement for this line that says if mouse X is less than 400. Oops. And now I have to put my open bracket and another closing bracket. So now I should only get my drawing under if two conditions are met. One, first of all, my mouse has to be pressed. And then I have the second condition inside, which is that my mouse X has to be less than 400. Oh, I can draw, and it only works on that side, on the left side of the screen, if my mouse is less than 400. So right now I'm just dealing with the x-axis. I didn't make any specifications about the y-axis, which is why I can draw over the whole thing. There's an if statement that says if I'm on the other side. So this is the part here that I'm going to just copy, and I'm going to paste it below, and I'm going to flip this now to be greater than. Now I need to give them some different values. So this one, the top one, has a black stroke, and this one is going to have a red stroke. All right. So if you're doing this properly, you should have 3 closing brackets at the end. So let's just kind of go through all of our if statements again, because that's what this whole practice is about. I've wrapped everything in an if mouse pressed. So nothing happens unless it's the mouse is pressed. And so here's the closing bracket for that. Then I have 2 separate if statements, one right after another. So the first if statement gives a specification of my mouse X has to be less than 400. Then I get this line with a black stroke. That closes. I have to close that one before I start my next if statement. And this one says if my mouse X is greater than 400, so in other words, I'm on the right side, give me a line with a red stroke. So let's test this out. I get a line black over here, and then it switches to red over here. So in the next example, we're going to make a few more like really specific ones, but maybe just take a second and make sure that all your brackets are right and that you have 3 in total closing brackets at the end.